What is up, everyone? Welcome to Nickel City Mafia Rush Hour. Another big win to celebrate tonight. Bills, I think this is 6 in a row for them. So a great win. We're going to get into all of that. Joining me tonight, we got Chad the Chief coming over from the Chiefs Kingdom. We got Jake and Sean, and we got Buffalo Barbie Dell. She's back, looking beautiful in that blue. Love it. Jake and Sean, while we're waiting for some folks to join us tonight, I'd love to hear about your experience. You both were at the game. Talk to us about the tailgate and how the environment was there in the stadium, and how many Chiefs fans made it over to Highmark today. And hopefully, you all got along. And just talk to us about the experience, man.
Oh, it was great. I'm going to let Sean talk about it because I like hearing the perspective from out of towners. So I'm going to let him start, and then I'll wrap it up.
Well, 4 games in the last 4 years, and it seems like each game we're louder and louder and louder, and it's more crazy and electric every time we go. And tailgate's awesome as always. Had some great food. There was a few Chiefs fans, maybe like 5,000-6,000 of them. They
travel well.
Everybody was pretty nice. Nobody was causing problems, and Jake had a friend from Canada who's a Chiefs fan, so we met up with him and his wife or girlfriend, and it was a fun time. And the seats were great. Obviously, game energy was crazy, and it felt like a primetime game, and it felt like a playoff game. So can't ask for much more than that. It was the best experience besides having kids and a wife.
I'll second that. Yes, amazing. The crowd. You go to a lot of Bills games, and the crowd is always into it and loud, but there was just a different feel about this one. Sean worded it perfectly. It felt like a playoff environment. It was pretty sweet. You got chills down your spine, especially on that Josh Allen run. It's like, oh my gosh, this is really going to happen here. The Chiefs, they've been the monkey on our back for years. The thing is, while we say that, we have actually beat them in the regular season. So now you got to do it when it matters. This is a great victory, but I do want to put things into perspective, right? This is huge, and can't take anything away from it because 15-game winning streak. Undefeated season. We ended both of those things tonight, Chad. So we will take it. But as Pat Mahomes said, do it again. Do it when it matters, right? Do it when it really, really matters. So just a fantastic night, though. Fantastic day. No complaints here.
Well, now at the tailgate, do you guys pretty much just tailgate where your place is, Jake, where you work at? Or do you guys make your way over into the other areas within the stadium?
So a lot of times I will, I have friends and stuff that tailgate in other areas, but today we just stayed at my office. It was great. My boss, he always likes to do something related to the city of the fan base that we're playing. So he did brisket. He smoked a brisket today. He did sausage, and it was delicious. He did a fantastic job on that. So we had brisket. They had Paula's Donuts there, believe it or not, too.
Wow.
I made pasta salad, and there was a lot of food. There's always plenty of food. That's the best part. So yeah, we ate there a little bit. Shotgun a beer with Sean's sister's boyfriend. That was fun. We had that Chiefs fan from Canada actually jump into his first table today. He broke his first table today, so that was great. That was jumped off the tailgate of my truck, broke the table that I had that I was ready to get rid of. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I saw the CBS crew before the game. They were actually out there jumping through tables, which is kind of funny to see. Yeah. You had Bill Coward out there jumping through a table.
Oh, it was great.
Oh, he did.
The only guy who didn't was JB, and he was the only one who didn't do it. But it was kind of fun. Those guys had a good time. But we got Dennis out there. Good to see you. He says, "Good evening, gentlemen and Jessica." Truck Reviewer says, to quote Frank Sinatra, "Here's to the losers, bless them all." And Big Al says, "Sean, how was the Mighty Taco tonight?" So Mighty Taco,
it was excellent.
Why don't you tell the folks a little bit about him?
I might have, not right now, but
it's a Buffalo staple, guys.
Yeah. Tell them a little bit about Mighty Taco, because Buffalo's known for wings, pizza, beef on weck. Mighty Taco, what the heck are we talking about here?
Well, the special part about Mighty Taco, it's fast food tacos, right? And I think what's special about it is the holy smokes! Look at it. Thank you, brother. Listen, I was called Josh Allen today by security guards too. I meant to tell you, Mike.
Nice.
It was great. It. Yeah.
You should have used that to your benefit.
Mike, guess what's in here, buddy?
What we got? Let me see.
Bunch of candy.
Oh God, that's so good.
We should have bought some and sent some to him.
I know, Mike. I will send you some. I definitely have to do that. You deserve it.
Did you get the milk chocolate, or is that the dark chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
Yeah, milk chocolate's the way to go.
Yep. Dark chocolate's good too, but yeah, milk chocolate's definitely the best. But no, Mighty Taco, it's essentially fast food. Like, it's not authentic Mexican or anything like that. Think of like a fancier version of Taco Bell almost. And that's funny that I'm saying fancy version because it's not. I mean, when you get Mighty Taco, a lot of times you are kind of half in the bag. That is not the case right now. Actually, very sober as compared to other times that I've done post-game shows after a Bills game. But yeah, no, Mighty Taco is delicious. I think what makes it special is the beef that they use. It's fresh every day, and it's so good. It's just awesome. So
for sure.
It's very simple. We did some Super Mighties, which is just kind of like a loaded up burrito, but then we just did beef and cheese burritos with some medium sauce. Oh, it just absolutely hits every time. So yeah, it's a Buffalo staple. They don't have them elsewhere. So Mighty Taco, shout out to them.
Hit you about an hour or 2 hours after as well. So be careful there.
Oh yeah.
If you get what I'm saying.
I do. It was kind of accidental, Mike. We were supposed to get Picasso's, but I dropped the ball again, as I have done a few times with Sean. I feel bad. I'm sorry about that, brother. I've led you astray.
No, that's all right.
I tried to order it in the stadium. I wanted to get a DoorDash, but they stopped accepting delivery orders at like 7. They close at 8. So I'm like, there's just no way we're going to be able to do it. So next time we're going to have to get Picasso's.
There's always a next time, so it's all good.
I was expecting you to get him that pizza this weekend, but
I felt bad because I was hyping it up to his wife because he said that it was her favorite place. I was like, yeah, after the game, we're going to have some Picasso's and, all that. And then couldn't have it. And she brought it up. She's like, you guys promised me a pizza. And,
Yeah.
No, Jake did not say Polish donuts.
Paula's
Donuts. The best donut place there in Buffalo. Great stuff.
But if you want to talk Polish donuts, Punchki donuts, those are good stuff.
Weston's saying I will have to wear my Nickel City Mafia shirt.
Weston, listen, I'm sending it out tomorrow. I dropped the ball on that as well. I am sending both yours and Chad's tomorrow, okay? It will be in the mail, and I will text you as soon as I do it. So you have my word.
Awesome.
The initial one I sent to Weston got sent back to me. I think I may have I don't know if I messed up the address or something. I thought I got it right, but for whatever reason, it may have gotten mixed up where they sent it. I don't know, but yes.
All right. Well, good stuff, guys. I was glad you were there, and I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad the outcome was what we had hoped for. I mean, this was like 2 heavyweights, right? This is 2 heavyweights, much better than the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight Friday night.
Yep.
It was much better, and it's what you expect between these 2 teams. Hard-fought game going into the fourth quarter, both defenses and offenses. It's kind of funny. They're very similar in how they run their offenses. They like to dink and dunk a little bit, take some shots over the top when they can, and they play good defense. And I mean, the Chiefs' defense was everything they said they'd be against the run, very stout. But before we get into it and talk about it from the Bills' perspective, I want to say thanks, Chad, for joining us. Chad, the Chief, longtime member of Nickel City Mafia. He's out there in the Discord all the time for us, supports the channel. And Chad, I mean, you and Weston all week. I feel like, by the way, don't forget you're on mute because I always make that mistake. But you and Weston had said all week that you felt like this was going to be a loss. And, talk to me about why you thought that. And, of course, it turned out to work out just the way you said. But what was it that made gave you that feeling that this was the week?
Well, I think for one, with just the injuries that we've got going on, we just don't have our full complement of weapons. With Pacheco being out, Charles Omena, who was out, though they are probably going to be back next week. And just honestly, I think it's, going almost a full calendar year without a loss. And, eventually it just wears on you for winning, 15 in a row. And eventually, you're going to get caught, you're going to get tripped up. But we hadn't been playing very well over part of the season. I won't say all season, but whenever you start to get a little bit careless with the ball, things happen when you force things that, eventually you're going to get burned. And that's what happened. So it wasn't in a trend, at least from my perspective. I don't think it was a trend in a good direction. We had just been, fortunate enough, I guess, I won't say lucky, but fortunate enough, I think, to just be in some close games where our defense was able to rise up, make the stops that they needed, and give our defense and give our offense a chance to score. But that just wasn't it today. Had a couple of plays there where I know it was talked about in the post game where they were asking Mahomes about that throw to Xavier Worthy, and I mean, he was literally just apparently, like I said, I don't watch the game, so I'm going by what on radio, but basically he was literally a big toe from having that being, a 45-yard completion all
It
the
was
way
close.
down, I believe, inside. I want to say it was inside the 10. I could be wrong. I don't remember since it was a few hours ago, but that's a big play that was taken off the board. That definitely could have changed an outcome, but it was it just felt like it was just things are just eventually going to catch up with us. But we'll start to get healthy and we'll get back up and going. Undefeated season, what never was the goal anyway. So didn't have to worry about, didn't really care for it anyway because we know what pressure that mounts. So hey, but I think it's just just a few things at least from my perspective.
Yeah, I think both teams are on the mend, right? We were without Dalton Kincaid, we were without Kean Coleman, which would have been nice to have him going against Xavier Worthy because the Chiefs, man, they were like rubbing Worthy in our face for that first half, going to
They're
him.
trying to.
And yes,
Yeah.
Chad, he was wide open on a deep throw. He just, underestimated where the sideline was and should have been an easy catch, but it wasn't.
Yep.
I think, the Bills with having the bye next week could put it all on the line. It's like, look, we lost to them last year in our house. We're not going to let that happen again. We got the bye next week. Give it all you got. It was, again, the Chiefs were in it right to the end, and I never was resting at all, at all.
Yeah.
But
No, and honestly, I think a few people, at least from what I was reading there, just seemed like that they thought that Kansas City was just going to roll over and just like basically toss this way. But that wasn't going to be the case. They're not going to quit. That's just not them. That's not in their mentality. And I think that, yes, we were a 2.5-point underdog, and it's rare that we're an underdog, but we were. But I just think some people just thought we were just gonna, go in there and just roll over. But it's just like that's just not the case. That's just not what this team's mentality is. They know what the ultimate goal is, and we're gonna try to attempt something that's never been done before. And you don't get these opportunities very often. So I just, and Mahomes was also talking about that throw too. He goes, I should have let him a little bit more. And he goes, says I didn't do that. He goes, I pushed a little bit too more to the sideline. He said, had I let him, he goes, says a little bit more. He goes, that was a walk-in touchdown. He goes, says that was just no doubt. He goes, that's my fault. He goes, says, and they brought it up on radio too, which is also a good point. Xavier Worthy being a rookie, obviously the difference between, college and the NFL when it comes to receivers, you got to have 2 feet in bounds and not one. Sometimes that's still a little bit of an adjustment. Whenever you're a rookie wide receiver going toward the sideline, you're thinking, man, I got that 1 foot in bounds. I'm good. And you're not. Sorry, you gotta get that second foot down. So that was just one that they were talking about in the game. But like I said, it was just one of those where, I think that Kansas City just wasn't going to just walk in there and just, hey, they're not going to roll over. They're just not going to do that.
yeah, I mean, both teams wanted this win. Don't get me wrong. You always want to win, right? But the Bills, to have a shot at the number 1 seed, definitely needed this. They give themselves at least a shot now. Had they gone down 3 games, behind 3 games to the Chiefs, so number 1 seed was probably out of reach. But at least they have a little bit of a shot now. But I was deciding whether to start with the defense or the offense. But Weston, I'm going to start with the defense because of what you just said here. And I'm going to go to Jessica again. Lovely, looking great in the blue tonight. Does she look beautiful tonight, boys? Does she look beautiful?
Looking awesome, Jess. Looking awesome. And the candles. What type of candles you got burning behind you there?
Scented.
I'm a big candle guy, so I respect it. I got like 3 in this basement alone. Got a big one right in front of me here. So what scent you got going?
One is garden rose.
Oh,
and the other one is cinnamon.
Ooh, I love cinnamon.
I love it.
But Jessica, talk to us. Like, what was? I mean, they shut Kelsey down. I mean, did he even have a catch today? Let me see here real quick.
He had one catch, I think.
One catch. How many targets? Let's see here. He had 4 targets. I mean, actually had
2 for 8.
2 catches, 2 for 8.
Yeah.
So how did this defense? Because in years past, we've never been able to shut down Kelsey. What did you see differently today? What would they? I couldn't see what they were, what kind of a scheme they were using on him. But what'd you see from this defense?
I thought that they covered Kelsey and D-Hop and wanted somebody else to beat them. That's why Gray got 2 touchdowns. They played man-to-man today a lot, and it allowed them to cover Kelsey better, allowed them to cover D-Hop better, and I thought Mahomes was going to run on us a lot today after coming out man-to-man against them. But we had the spy with Williams, and it didn't allow him to do that. So that's the defense is awesome, especially in the second half after adjustments. I would say that we're a top 5 defense when we want to be. We give up a lot of yards. We play from 40 yards out of the end zone, but today we didn't do that. We did not give Kansas City an inch on every play.
Yeah, it was nice that we got some pressure. Jake and Sean, by the way, Brian Label. Haven't seen you in a long time. I want to thank you so much for the super chat. It's been a while. We still think, I don't know, I still think this is Brian Dable behind the scenes coming in here. He's had a rough year over there with the Giants, but he comes over here, supports the channel. And Brian, it's great to see you again. Thank you so much for the super chat. We really
always,
appreciate it.
You're one of the OGs. He's one of the OGs. We appreciate the hell out of you.
One of the OGs, yes. This is the Bills year. I'll only make this prediction once before. Yeah, this was his prediction last year. This is our year. But yeah, good start, 9-2 for sure. Now, Jake and Sean, you were at the game. You had very good seats, so you had a clear overview of what was happening. What were the Bills doing? Were they doubling Kelsey? Who would they have on Kelsey?
Honestly, we have to go back and probably watch the film because
I was just watching the D-line.
We were watching the D-line a lot today. There was a lot of line evaluation today, and let me tell you, they played their asses off. They looked fantastic out there. I mean, Jordan Phillips, first off, shout out to him. He comes back to the Bills last week. This week, very involved. He got the crowd hyped. I mean, he was going like this, and we were reacting every time. It was a beautiful thing. But yeah, I thought the defensive line played great. As far as Travis Kelce goes, yeah, I think they were doubling him a little bit. It was interesting, though, as Cody says, yeah, he's like, if Noah Gray could kindly disappear, that'd be great for his fantasy teams. Because, yeah, he was just stealing all the targets and catches from Travis Kelce today. So we did a really nice job on him. Definitely.
Yeah, Weston, I did notice the Bills put an effort at throwing against McDuffie. I saw a few go against them, of course, but I don't think they overdid it. I don't know. Maybe I missed that. I'll have to check the stats. I mean, tomorrow I'll rewatch the game. So I didn't see
Josh took a couple deep shots on him.
Yeah. And then let's see. And Josh, I mean, I'm not going to go to the offense. I'm not going to go back and forth. Yeah. So we'll stick on the defensive side since we started there. But yeah, just a great defensive effort. The Bills were able to get some pressure on Mahomes, which is something we've struggled with in the past. We had 2 sacks on him. And again, kept the heat on him, forcing some missed throws. But I'll tell you what, Pat Mahomes was Pat Mahomes. I mean, he threw for 3 touchdowns, and seemed to have the deeper shots this game. But Josh Allen, the only critique I have with Josh Allen was that throw to Quentin Morris when he rolled out.
Mm-hmm.
But again, back to the defense here. Again, Bernard showed up. Terrell Bernard with the game-ending interception. Of course, the game was probably out of hand anyway. Bills were up by 9, and they were just they had less than 2 minutes to go. So Pat was just trying to make a throw to keep something going there. Taron Johnson.
It was fourth.
Yeah, it was fourth down. He had to throw something to make something happen.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Right. Exactly. I felt like I'm going to tell you something. Cam Lewis. I mean, for all the crap the Trek reviewer gives him, Cam Lewis continues to make plays. He's not a starter, but when he's in there, and not only on defense, on special teams, he's always making a huge tackle. So, Trek reviewer, can I get you to please give some respect
It was
Cam
almost him with the game-sealing
Oh
interception.
yes,
and not
exactly,
Terrell Bernard.
exactly. I mean, he was aggressive.
And he was
On
biting ankles today,
Yep.
especially
Yeah, I mean,
Kelsey's.
I
Yeah,
looked
they
at
went-
Sean and I said, if Cam Lewis gets that interception, I'm naming him player of the game.
Let me see here. We got a lot of folks in the chat, and I just want to make sure I catch up with everybody here. Time traveler out there.
T Swift was not there, I don't believe.
T Swift. Well,
Brian.
no, I don't
Yeah.
think so. Because, like you guys said, they didn't show her on the broadcast. So if they don't show her on the broadcast, that's definitely a no.
That's a good indication.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All Cam, like Trek Review is saying, hell, no, but all Cam does is make plays. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
But staying on the defensive side, guys, Sean and Jake, since you said you were focusing on that D line, why don't you one of us talk to us about it? You love those trenches. We'll get to the offense in a little bit, but what'd you see from that D line?
You want to go first?
You go first. You were fired up about it, man.
Yeah, from the first snap, it was just complete domination, and we've been waiting for that all season for everybody as a whole. Usually, it's one person out of the bunch makes a big game, but the whole game, everybody, even the backups, were getting pressure. They were filling in their gaps good, stopping the run, making Mahomes have to move out of the pocket. They even had to, for a lot of times, had to move the pocket for Mahomes so he can make a play because he kept getting pressure. So they had to do rollouts. So they had to take the pocket with them. And for the last couple of times, especially in the playoffs, we failed to do that. And you notice it in our playoff losses, we give up 35 points a game. And when we win, we give up 20 points a game. So there's a problem when it comes to the defense in the big playoff games. But they all came to play today. Ed Oliver, Von Miller had a big sack. Casey Toohill made some plays. Greg Rousseau got a holding call on a big. They're driving down the field and it backed them up out of field goal range. And they all did great. And that's a really good offensive line. Obviously Taylor wasn't able to do his early jump because of this. They had to do a silent count, so that helps a little bit too. And then again, they have a great interior, so it's tough to even get anything on them. So I was really, really impressed with how they played. Probably their best game as a unit.
Yeah, I'll second that. I think we challenged the interior or the interior D line to play better football on one of our last shows, and they really showed up. Maybe they hurt us, probably not, but I'll tell you what, they balled out today. And the ends, all of them, I thought played very well. Going back to going down to guys like Casey Toohill, I thought he played well today. Von Miller registers a sack. Groot with pressures. Epi with a pass deflection. I mean, he had a couple penalties today, but I'm okay with some of those penalties because he's, playing football. He's trying to get in their heads just like they're trying to get in our heads. So I thought they all were fantastic. As far as setting the edge and playing contained too, fantastic job. I mean, Pat Mahomes didn't really use any escape artist moves today either. So very, very good disciplined football by the defensive line.
Yeah, normally I've been giving Ed Oliver a lot of hard time. And again, he only registers one tackle.
Drew a big flag.
But you could see his presence. He was getting into the backfield. He was making his presence felt. So, again, he had one tackle, and guess who else had one tackle? Ryan Van DeMark. So, we'll talk about Ryan Van DeMark in a little bit, but he had a tackle as well. So, whenever you have an offensive lineman make as many tackles as your interior guy,
well, it's about pressure too.
Yeah, he definitely had some pressures there. So, it'll be good to look at the PFF grades yesterday. And I love what I saw from Ed. Greg Rousseau seemed to be in the backfield quite a bit, making plays. He didn't register anything other than 2 QB hits, but still his presence was felt. Those big arms, 6'7", call him Groot for a reason.
Oh, huge.
Making some big plays.
Yeah.
Von Miller had the sack, like you said, and so did let's see, our other sack went to Terrell Bernard. So Bernard had a really, really good game. That kid, continues to make plays for us. He's the leader of that defense. So fantastic game for him. Jessica, who else did you want to talk about on the defense?
No, I want to go back to Greg Rousseau. He forced those 2 sacks. He flushed Mahomes into Von Miller, and he flushed him out so that Bernard had to come up and get him. And he was the disruptive force of that line today, and also at Oliver, just coming up straight up, not allowing them to push him around today. And I think that's what's been going on since they've been just relaxing in the middle of the defense, in the middle of the line, not trying to push it as much. And I think they're trying to save it for the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
It's good to win. We have a winning season at this point, and we're 2 games away from clinching the AFC East.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It really is.
You know, the Jets are out, the Patriots are out, and if the Dolphins lose another 1 or 2 games, they're out. And then all we need to do is go grab that number 1 seed from Kansas City.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they got a much harder schedule than we thought earlier today, because the Chargers look good tonight. Right now, they look great against the Bengals. And then you got the Steelers, and they're going to be having to go down to Pittsburgh and play the Steelers there. That's going to be one heck of a game. And so,
how about the Steelers?
And so I'm, as far as the Bills go, I think that they're starting to peak, and hopefully they can hold that off until the end of the regular season.
Yeah, I think both teams, when you look at the Chiefs and the Bills, they both have a difficult schedule coming up here. Again, like you said, the Chargers, man, I'm shocked at how good the Chargers have been under Harbaugh first year with him, right? They are playing some really good football. Broncos showed that they can play really good football. They almost beat the Chiefs last week and had another good week this week, so they bring a tough defense. Chad, where was that game at last week against the Broncos? Was it in KC or was it in?
It was in Arrowhead.
Okay, all right. So they got to travel to Denver, and I don't know when that game is, but it could be a cold.
The last game of the season.
Oh, okay. So that could be very meaningful and always a little bit chilly at that time.
You're going to make Weston puke. He hates the Broncos.
Oh, I know. I know he does.
Well, Mike, real quick about the defense too.
Yeah.
It was the lowest yard total KC's had since 2021. So that's pretty impressive because we give up a ton of yards usually. So it's I know they're missing some guys, but we've never been known for really shutting down an offense with yards. So it's got to give them credit for that too, because that was pretty shocking. Because usually we're just getting cooked for yardage.
Yeah, he says I hate Denver.
They've been very surprising. I mean, Bo Nix is getting better every week. You can see it.
And Denver's gonna have a really good opportunity because KC plays the Steelers the game before, and if you play the Steelers the game before, you're going to get beat up. They're going to get hurt. You're going to get beat up, and then you got to travel to Denver and play at the Mile High City with a very beat up team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to Chad here real quick. Chad, what surprised you about this game? Was there anything that surprised you that you've been, because you watch the Chiefs every week? No, I'm sorry. Let me
listen.
say something a little different.
Yeah.
Chad has a superstition, and I love it. He does not watch any game. He listens to it on the radio. Chad, do you catch the game on the rewatch, though? Is that okay? You ever watch that?
No, I really don't, because all I do is I'll just look at highlights and stuff, especially if it's something that I didn't get to see that I hear about on the radio and like a great play or something like that, then I'll go back and watch it. But other than that, no.
All right. Well, back to my question. Was there anything that surprised you today? Something that the Chiefs, you're a little disappointed at that they, or has it been pretty much the same that they've been playing? Or is there something different you saw the Bills do that other teams hadn't done today?
I mean, the only thing I'd probably say just more disappointed in was probably the way the defense played overall, especially there towards the end, because honestly, if we could have went and got the stop, you force them to kick a field goal, you're only down 5, and you give Mahomes the ball left with a little over 2 minutes with, I think they still had 2 timeouts in the 2-minute warning. So if you have a chance to, like I said, if you're down 5, you still got a chance to at least go drive down the field, put a touchdown on the board, and at least go, you can go up 1, maybe leaving very little time left. So it was just probably the way that those last few minutes there probably were executed by the defense. They just didn't seem to tackle very well. But to Weston's comment there, we just didn't run the ball a lot either. That was the one that was kind of surprising.
You guys are getting like 4 to 6 yards a carry too. I mean,
we did a few. They had one good run, but I think
you know, we've been running the ball pretty well, as of late, and
Not bad.
I just think they got too pass happy, and that's usually with what happens sometimes with Andy Reid. I think, especially when games like this, sometimes he abandons the run game too quick, and then he wants to just throw the ball for
He's
60
trying to get
passes,
cute.
or whatever. Huh? Yes,
He was trying to
and
get cute. It felt like, yeah.
that's the part where I hate is when you try to get cute, and it's just like, just go do with what got us there. And we've always been a hard nose running the ball, taking with what the defense gives you. And I just think that there were some times there where they just tried to force it too much. Could be
Yeah.
because of the scheme the way Buffalo had. And I knew Buffalo was going to be amped up for this game. They weren't happy about the way it ended in January. So I knew that was going to be the case. They were going to be amped up. So, nothing. So like I said, it really didn't, surprise me. So I just think that, like I said, it's just the way the defense played there, because overall, I mean, I think I just read a stat where it said it's the first time we'd given up 30 points since, I don't know, I think it's been like
Since
It was like 30
years.
games, 30 games
it's
straight.
a lot of games.
So maybe longer than that. I guess since 2019 or 2020 or something like that, it's the first time we get up 30 points. So I mean, it's a lot of games. I mean, we just don't get torched that well, or that much, I should say. So I just think that it was. I just think with the, like I said, with the amount of games we played over the last few weeks, the bye came a little bit early. That's right. It was since Super Bowl 57. That's right, against the Eagles. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So that's, like I said, that's been a few games. So, I think the bye, we're always used to having the bye week a little bit later. This year, I think we had it after week 6. I think we had it after 5 games, maybe 6 games. So I think that, having all those games there, I think it's, injury just catch up and you just get wore down a little bit. So, but nothing really surprised me. Like I said, other than just not running the ball much and just the way the defense kind of played there at the end. And I don't know where Chris Jones has been. They need to put him on a milk carton somewhere and find the guy that signed that big contract. Because I didn't realize he's only got 3 sacks this year, which is just unheard of. So, and we do have to go play Pittsburgh. I get that. Buffalo's got to go to play Detroit. That won't be easy.
Yeah. And San Fran.
That's not going to be easy. So Denver will obviously be a force. We've obviously played them since 1960, so we know what it's like to play in Mile High. So we're not shy from that. We got Carolina next week. I think we'll probably be favored in about every game, I would say, except for possibly the Steelers game. That would be the one I'd say there, because and it also depends on how the season goes too. If we end up just maybe going 15-2, 14-3, maybe we don't need that game. Maybe we're locked up in our seed no matter what, and we just go and play the last game of the season. I mean, it's very well possible. I'm not saying it can't be, but I don't know if the division will be on the line, but maybe a 1 or a 2 seed might be on the line. So, it's going to be relatively interesting on how it goes down the stretch and how they play the guys there on as far as when it comes to getting everybody kind of healthy. Because you don't want to get anybody re-injured or anything like that. We've already got enough of those, especially being without a kicker for 4 weeks. Probably the best kicker in the league. That's not going to be good either.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thanks, Chad. And I appreciate you hanging out here. I mean, it must be tough, going with the loss, but you kind of knew it. You and Weston had said all week you were preparing for this loss. But I love to hear. I love to hear the other side of things from other team reps. What was that, Jessica?
Well, I was going to talk about why Kansas City probably didn't run more. One, they were behind most of the game, and every time you hand it off to a running back, you're taking out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. And who do you want in a running back's hand, or do you want in Patrick's hand? I'm sure that just like Buffalo, they'd rather have it in Josh's hands. So that would be my guess why they didn't run it more.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I want to say this. I'm going to throw it to you, Jake. Sean McDermott, let's give him credit. I mean, the aggressiveness. Goes for it twice on 4th down. The first time I could have kicked the field goal as well, and I love that he went for it. I didn't like the play call, the interception that Josh threw, the little play that they schemed up to Knox. Wasn't a pretty play, but I love the aggressiveness. But then when the game's on the line, you're only up by, what was it?
2 points.
we were up by 2 points at that point, and it's 4th and 2. 4th and 2 at the Kansas City 26. Sure, you can take the field goal, go up by 5, but let's be real. It's kind of like Chad said. I mean, you give them the ball back with 2 minutes to go, and you're probably going to bet, put your money on that Mahomes is going to make something special happen. He goes for it. Love it. He puts it in, like Jessica said, his best player's hands. Joe Brady makes that call. Josh, take it. And he goes to the house. I mean, that was an incredible run, 26-yard run for a touchdown, just going through players at the end. And I love that Romo said, this is a mistake by the Chiefs. They had nobody scouting him, right? They had nobody kind of watching Josh Allen on that play, which most teams have been. They've usually put a spy, not scouting, spying him.
Yeah.
And they didn't, and they took advantage of that. It was a fantastic run. So, Jake, people always down on McDermott. Love what he did today. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, he could have definitely settled for a field goal on the interception play to Knox, but I'll tell you what, that throw, I don't think that's on Josh. I think Josh thought there was definitely going to be a flag, but Dawson Knox stopped running. He sat down. Had he ran through the defender there, that's probably defensive holding or something. A flag will be thrown on that play if he continues going across. And he didn't. And that's why Josh just kind of threw it up in the air. Everyone's thinking, oh, what a stupid play. Just threw it right to the defender. Well, no, he did that because I think he felt that there was going to be a flag thrown if Dawson Knox continued running across the defender's face. Probably would have ran right into him. And then, you're drawing a penalty flag there. So I think looking back at that play, that I don't put that on Josh. As far as the other 4th down play, oh my gosh. I mean, the whole crowd was like, oh my God, what are you doing? Why are you running? And then, oh my God, touchdown. He is him. Josh Allen is him. He is so good at football. He is such a joy to watch. No other quarterback in the league is doing that. I'm sorry. As good as Pat Mahomes is, he's not doing that. Jalen Hurts isn't doing that. You look at other running quarterbacks, maybe Lamar, but he's not breaking tackles like that. I think Josh is just different. He's got that killer instinct, and it was beautiful, man. There were MVP chants after that. It was electric. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. It was amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, leave it to the guy who looks like Josh Allen to come up with excuses for Josh Allen on that interception.
Always.
I don't necessarily agree that it wasn't his fault, but hey, I love the aggressiveness and I love what he did on that run, that 26-yard run. But let's switch over to the offense because there's so many. Again, it was very complimentary football today. And that's what you want. But let's start with the offense. And again, we always start with the trenches. That O-line looked fantastic, Sean. So I'm going to throw it to you to talk about that O-line, who you do film on every week on your show. So talk to us about what you saw from that O-line today.
Yeah, it was dominant performance after dominant performance. And again, that's incredible defensive line. Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, they're game wreckers. And we've seen them both do it to us before in the past. And I think maybe Chris Jones had 1 tackle today in the run game. He didn't get any pressures. And, we had Ryan Vandermark had his first career start at right tackle, or in general, but he had a start in the biggest game of the year. And he did absolutely outstanding. He run game, pass blocking. He didn't have any penalties. And I was worried about him at first because I was like, yeah, he's all right, but he's never started before and played a whole game. And then you're playing against Kansas City, against a great defense, the best defense in the league with the best defensive coach. And they're going to try to key in on him. He just one-on-one with everybody. He just did fantastic. And, it was nice to be able to say, you know what, our starting guy was out and his backup didn't skip a beat and he played outstanding. I can't give him enough credit. And then again, the whole offensive line in general was just bullying and then just great in pass protection. Josh had all day. There might have been a couple of plays in the run where, they got beat, but it's going to happen. You got 40 pass blocking attempts and like 30 run attempts. You're not going to win 70 times out of 70. But overall, it was A+ performance for sure.
Yeah, the pass blocking was excellent. Again, I was hoping we'd be able to impose our will with the run game. Not so much. Again, everything you heard about the Chiefs being stout against the run, there it was, right there in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I will say
I was just going to say that was the one thing I will say that I thought that they did a really good job on, because there wasn't a whole lot. There wasn't a whole lot to give. And when I heard the stats there, I was just like, dang. I said, I mean, I know Cook had 2 touchdowns, but I mean, obviously they were in goal to go. But I mean, I think at one time it was like 14 carries for like, I don't know, 40 yards, 30 yards, something like that. I don't know what it was. It was just
much.
He did not do much.
Yeah, 9 carries, 20 yards for James Cook. Ty Johnson, 5 for 18. He had the best yards per carry out of running backs with 3.6. But overall, you're probably looking at about a 2-point-something yards per carry average for the running backs.
And that's about our average. We only give up about 2.5 yards a carry. That's about our average. Impressive. So the run defense was, if it was probably a bright spot, was it. And also, I know Weston mentioned that Nazim there was just a big liability. There he just, he wasn't, he's just not used to playing all that much. And plus also, somebody also mentioned there about Jalen Watson being missed, and he was, and it showed, because he basically took over for Snead, and we've been pretty good when he was there, and then when he got hurt a couple weeks ago, it was the pass defense hasn't been as good. So, those are the last couple of weeks ago. I think he got hurt 3 weeks ago.
He's a good player. I like Jalen Watson a lot. You guys did miss.
You don't realize how good they are. You don't realize how much they're missed until they're gone. Until they aren't there. And so, I know that had a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen ran for 55 yards, guys. You take his yardage away, and the Bills are rushing for under 50 yards.
I was going to say that's what bothered me a little bit, was like Brady. He had no problem running every play against Dallas when it was working. And then when we were destroying them in the pass game all game, he's like, yeah, let's just run the ball every time instead and get 1 yard, and then make 2nd and 10 and 3rd and 9 every time. And then, because when it's 2nd and 10 and 3rd and 9, it's easy. I could call defensive plays to stop 3rd and 9 and 2nd and 9 and 3rd and 10. It's easy. And, you put your offense in a terrible position. You put them set up to blitz you properly and to get all this pressure on you. Luckily, we protected it well. But it's just, you don't want to be living in that. You don't want to be living in the 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. You want to be 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. But, we had to keep battling through that, and we kept running the ball. And I even bet someone, I looked a guy in front of me, I said, I bet you $20 we're about to run the ball for 1 yard in this place. Like, I'm not betting you that, because I know we're going to do it.
That's pretty good.
It's just, something's got to give, or run differently. Do a jet sweep. You have Curtis Samuel. That's why you brought him over here. He's a gadget guy. Do a jet sweep. Do an end around. Do a fake toss handoff, or do something that, if you can't just run your typical zone run or gap run, do something different. Ty Johnson went in and did well, and you stop running them. Like you got to put Cook in there to get 1 yard. It was just really frustrating. And other than it was hard to see if it was whose fault it was, why we couldn't get any run game going. Out to see in the film, but it was really frustrating, and we just kept going to it.
Yeah, man. 3rd down efficiency. The Chiefs were 5 of 10, so 50%. Bills were 9 of 15, so they definitely were in a lot of 3rd down situations, and it did seem like that, Sean. Lots of 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and it's like, oh my gosh, I did not like that whatsoever. But they made the most of it. Let's see here. What's Cody saying? Curtis Sam. By the way, yes. So talk about
finally
milk cartons, and somebody being on a milk carton since the start of this season. That is Curtis Samuel, and he stepped up. Jessica, you want to talk about Curtis Samuel? And I mean, where'd he come from? Where'd this come from?
It came from that we had 2 wide receivers out. No Kincaid, no Coleman, and what the Bills did is they opened up the middle for the passing lanes today. That's why they were passing it out to the left, out to the right, with swing passes, and also the running game. It brought the linebackers up, and when we had 3rd down, the middle was open, and then Josh could make plays. And that's why you keep on running the ball. That's why you keep on swinging out to left and right, is to draw those players up to the line so that they can try to make plays against us. And then when we need it, the middle is open. Unlike Kansas City, the middle was closed today. They could not get anything in the middle against our defense. And I think that's what Joe Brady was going for today. And so I think if you take a look at it in totality, the game plan was to open up the middle of the field.
Yeah, Sean, how big was it that Amari Cooper was there? I mean, he had 3 targets, 2 catches for 55 yards. Makes that one-handed catch. Beautiful throw by Josh
Beautiful
Allen.
game.
I mean, it was perfect. Great catch, one hand. I'm still was looking at him like, why are you using just one hand? But it looked like he was being held up from the defender. And then that other beautiful catch along the sideline. But having him, Sean, how important was that?
Yeah, it was nice to see him back. Wish we targeted him more, but he was taking a lot of attention. Again, just starting the game up with a 30-yard pass. That was really nice, and just his presence is good for everybody on the field. Good for a quarterback, good for the play caller, good for all the players on the offense. And then without Coleman and Kincaid, even got to see Zach Davidson get his first catch of his career. That was pretty cool. Man, Quentin Morris, of all people, streaks open for 45 yards, could have put the dagger in him then, and then underthrow by a yard. And it's just, once a game, it's always missing that one big play. And it's just, if you can just connect that one big play once a game, your stats could be out of this world, and who knows what our record would be at this point. But yeah, I mean, people stepped up that needed to, and we played the perfect game plan. Don't try to get too cute. We did that one play, it didn't work out, but take what they give you. The middle of the field was there, the short passes were there, the deep ball was there when we could, and we took advantage of it. And it was nice to see, because obviously you can't just win. They won 15 games in a row, so eventually they were going to lose, but they were still giving it their best, because they wanted to keep the undefeated streak going. You might as well, right? You're already 9-0, and you fought a really great opponent that could three-peat. They still might do it, and I wouldn't say that they own us, but you lose to them when it matters. So it's hard to whatever the word is, compartmentalize it to. I can't speak today, but put it behind you and just go out and play your best football. And you got to play perfect to beat the Chiefs, regular season or postseason. And as you notice, they block field goals and they make the last play of the game all the time to seal it. So playing perfect football is tough, and we had to do as close as we could to beat this good team. And I was really happy with how the guys stepped up and rallied around each other.
Yeah, I have an Amari Cooper, man. I mean, they have to focus on him, right? So guys like Khalil Shakir, who is just fantastic. I mean, he had 12 targets. He hurt his reception percentage a little bit today. He had 12 targets, only 8 catches. You're like, that's fantastic, Mike. You're usually expecting like 1 target miss, but guy goes for 8 for 70 yards, made some critical catches. And again, I think if Amari's not in there, they're definitely keying on Khalil Shakir.
For sure.
Right? By the way, Shakira, ooh, baby, when you dance like that. I mean, I don't know. I got to put some little music together here. We got to put that little song. Ooh, baby, when you catch like that. What's the rest of the word?
I'll tell you what, it is like watching.
Yeah.
It is like watching a musical when you watch Khalil Shakir play football. His footwork, his ability to get yards after the catch, it is so beautiful, and it has helped us tremendously. I mean, the guy's a stud. Tony hit the nail on the head when he called it 3 years ago when we drafted him and said, hey, you guys got a guy in the 5th round. Hard to believe at the time, but you saw the sparks early on, and he really has not disappointed. I love it.
Except for that, he dropped that 3rd down that was in his hands.
Yeah.
That bothered me.
One of the very rare drops. Yeah.
He put exactly where he needed to catch it. And he doesn't ever do that. He doesn't ever do that. So, you automatically assumed he had it. Yeah. Everyone was clapping like as soon as he did it, we're like, and they're like, oh. Mm-hmm. But like you said, he's had a 30 catch streak, so he's still a solid guy for us. And he made that it was one of the biggest plays of the game, but at the time it was the biggest play of the game on 3rd and 10 with 5 minutes left. If you don't get that and you got to kick the field goal or punt, Kansas City's winning that football game, because all they need to do is just get that field goal, and then it's over. 3rd and 10, caught the ball. It was a tough catch because he got hit hard. Perfect throw, and then those are the plays that Kansas City always makes, and you have to do it too, so they don't get the opportunity to do it. And good for him. He really made that. It was a hard hit too. He got hit right in the lower back and came down with it still and saved the game.
Yeah, a lot of players aren't going to catch that ball with that hit that he took immediately. I mean, it wasn't like he caught it, hit. By the way, Jake mentioned Tony. Tony's a member of Nickel City Mafia. And he's a Boise State alumni, played defensive end for that team. So, yes, he had some great insight when we drafted him, and he hasn't been wrong. Khalil Shakir continues to elevate his game year after year after year. And coming into the season, he was the only receiver that we had that had caught a pass from Josh Allen.
Nuts.
And I'll tell you what, Matt Collins has that one big catch as well. Matt Collins continues, Jake, to show up when you need him. I'm so impressed with this guy. He just does everything that's asked of him, blocking. And then again, Josh finds him. Josh is very comfortable with him, it looks like.
He is. I'll say this. I feel like everything you throw at Matt Collins, he pretty much catches too. If it's on target, he will catch the football. He makes these splash plays. I mean, 2 catches, 27 yards today, but both of those catches he made were huge. And actually on the 15-yard one, I thought he was going to go the distance. I thought he was going to break that tackle and just take it to the house.
It, but it was nice.
But you could see it. I mean, I think throughout his career, I mean, he's a 4th-round pick. I think there's always been the potential for him to be a game breaker in some instances, right? He's a poor man's version of, a really good deep threat receiver, right? But I think he does the little things that are really important. That's why Sean McDermott loves him. That's why Josh trusts him too. I mean, he's a good football player. I love that he's on this team. It's crazy that he's a starting wide receiver on this team, but I think it's the little things. And today, again, 2 huge catches.
Hollins is a trade up from Gabe Davis, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah.
For a lot less money. For a lot less money.
Yeah.
Been fantastic. How about, so the Bills, they don't have Kincaid this week, right? Big loss for us. And they elevate Zach Davidson, tight end, off the practice squad. And this gentleman, Zach Davidson, first catch ever in the NFL. How about that, man? First catch ever, and he in preseason, I mean, there's a lot of talk about him potentially making the 53-man roster. He was actually making some splash plays, according to the beat writers there.
Yeah.
Not only in preseason, but in camp. So take that with a grain of salt. But there were some beat writers that I follow that were like, this guy's going to make the roster. Well, he didn't make the roster, but I'm glad he made the practice squad, and he got his first catch today. How fantastic was that?
I love it. Yeah.
A little bit of note about him there. He was drafted, or whenever he got drafted, I guess originally by Minnesota there, he graduated from the high school I went to.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I knew he was a Kansas kid. I thought a Missouri kid, right?
No, he's a Missouri kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a part of, I think at the time they may have won, well, at one point there we'd won like 7 straight state championships or something like that. But I think he was part of one of the few classes there where every single person had gotten a ring for the 4 years that they had played. So yeah, so I think he was part of that class there where they won like 4 or 5 in a row, something like
That's
that.
freaking awesome.
Because we've won, I think we've won 15 or 16 overall from the high school that I went to.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the tied for the most in the state, other than I think a 1A school or something like that has the same there. We always trade back and forth every year.
Yeah,
and that's nice 1 through 6. So it was really cool to hear that, even though that, kind of broke my heart a little bit. But I said, well, at least it's good for him, And I guess he was actually a center in high school.
Oh, that's cool.
And became a tight end. So
what you know about the Central Missouri Mules, Chad?
I don't like them. I know that, but
that's where he went to college. I figured I'd ask the question.
Yeah,
I can't remember if he was.
Yeah, he went to UCM. They're within our conference there for my alma mater, so they're rivals, but they've always been really good at football. So MIAA. I went to school at Missouri Southern State.
Oh, okay.
So they're part in our conference. Yeah, we're only claim to fame is Rod Smith. So
hell yeah. Hey,
well,
unfortunately,
that's our own claim to fame. Yeah, I know. That's what makes it hurt even more.
Yeah.
So I remember when he made his debut. My mom actually worked with his wife for a number of years. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, I heard that on the radio, and I said, "Well, cool." I said, even though that, like I said, he had to play for Buffalo, get his first catch there, but that's still cool there to see a local product, get in the NFL. So, because the other kid that's from Joplin, Isaiah Davis that
Yeah.
was at South Dakota State. You know, he got drafted,
The
I
Jets.
think, by the Jets.
Mhm.
And so, you know, he's a local kid as well. So it's kind of cool to see that.
That is cool. I love that.
Yep.
Yeah, how about the Chargers and Bengals game, by the way? 27-20 now. Bengals are back in it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Where we at? Where we at in that game? Third quarter?
It's just started the fourth.
Yeah, it just started.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, awesome stuff. So, Jessica, I'll ask you, like, is there anyone else that you wanted to talk about on this offense?
On this offense, let me see. Shakir, we talked about. We talked about Vandemar. Talked about Cooper. We talked about Cook.
Talked about Samuel.
I think the offensive line in general was outstanding. And Dawson Knox made a few good plays.
Good call.
Other than that one where I agree with that he should have ran through the route and gone, at least forced something.
Right. Yeah, that was I agree.
It was weird. He just sat there and watched. He literally just watched him throw it to him and pick it off. And I was like, well, at least if you were continuing to take your path, he might not have intercepted it at least. And then, you know, they don't get as many yards forward, but maybe it was an option route and Knox was assuming, hey, I just got to get 2 yards and I'm going to sit and I'm good. And Josh thought he would, take his body that way. But things like that, you got to make sure, especially with Knox. He's been with Josh for forever now. And you guys got to be on the same page with that. And I did buy a Knox jersey today. So
yes, he did.
It was the shortest line. It was a little tiny. No, it wasn't. The store was too packed, and there was like a little thing.
Little pop-up.
They had either Josh Allen jerseys, Knox jerseys, and a bunch of random stuff. And I said, well, I got a Josh Allen jersey. Just give me that Knox jersey.
One thing I do want to say is I'm so happy that Matt Ariza got his career back.
I know.
That was such a sad situation, and I wanted them just to let the legal things work out, but there was just too much pressure not to have him stay here in Buffalo.
He was a captain too, walking out. That was kind of cool. And I think at first the plan was by Andy Reid.
Yeah, I think
getting our heads a little bit. You sent out Matt Ariza for the coin toss, which is probably a cool moment for him. I mean, full circle moment. But then getting Xavier Worthy purposely involved in the game like he did, they really were making it a point.
They're trying.
Yeah.
I mean, Ariza, he kicked the ball 4 times, averaged 48.3. He's got a huge leg, and you saw it there in action today. And Sam Martin punted 3 times for 42. Look at us talking special teams. But yeah, it was typical Reid, like, said, you know what? Let's show off Worthy today. They've been talking about it. Got to get Worthy more involved, and look at they show up. But we kind of didn't really see him much in the second half. But yeah, having him go out as captain was a pretty cool thing for Ariza. So good stuff there. Now let's see. What's Weston saying? Well, I was dunking on Sean with KC Barbecue. Now Sean has to dunk on me with Buffalo Wings. We're going to talk about the Wings because they had a day yesterday. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I think unless Sean or Jake that you want to mention anyone else, first of all, I want to say great job by the coaches. Babbage, Brady, McDermott, fantastic getting ready for this game. Fantastic. But are there any other guys that you two wanted to talk about on offense before we get into the zeros and heroes?
Yeah, I mean, Josh is now 1 touchdown away. He's tied with Jim Kelly for most in team history. And he passed OJ today for number 2 rushing. So that was cool. I didn't get this. We wanted to see the all-time record, but we got to see the beating OJ and get number 2. And that's pretty cool. And, he tied Jim's record. So I guess that we could say that's pretty awesome too. So shout out to him for doing that. And 7 full years. That's pretty impressive. You already beat a Hall of Famer, or you're equal to a Hall of Famer as far as touchdowns go, which is pretty incredible. And just everybody did their part today. It was nice.
Awesome. Jake, anyone else you want to mention?
I mean, the Cookie Monster did get 2 rushing touchdowns. We wanted to see at least one of those go to Josh just because we want to pump up those MVP stats. I don't think he's still going to be in consideration just because of the numbers. Like they're good numbers, but then you still have Lamar who is putting up video game numbers.
But
this
you
year.
can't give it to someone who's a 6 seed.
Right.
You got to, and I always say this. Last year it was, the stats don't matter. It's the best player on the best team because Lamar didn't have good stats. And Josh had 15 more touchdowns than he did and 1,000 more total yards. And now Mahomes and Allen are the 1 and 2 seed, and their stats aren't as good as Lamar's. And it's, not only the stats matter. It doesn't matter if you're the best team now. So if he doesn't finish as a 2 seed or the 3 seed, he can't be. It doesn't matter what your stats are. It's got to go to the best team with the best player. So it's either got to be Mahomes if they get the 1 seed, or it's got to be Josh. It can't be someone who's got 6 losses or 5 losses and doesn't get the top 2 seeds. That's just my opinion. Because then it's not consistent with how they feed you the years before.
True.
So, but he's still playing. I mean, he's obviously playing fantastic. But if you're going off that, just give it to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's playing lights out.
He's putting up numbers, yeah. And by the way, the Bengals just tied this game.
That's crazy, crazy.
Chargers are going to charge her, right, Chad?
Yeah, that's why I was saying. I know I was on mute. That's why I was saying, wow. I said, well, I was just about to say Chargers are going to charge her, and that's why you play 60 minutes. And not only did we do that, with what happened last week, but look what happened in Chicago today as well.
Yeah,
another blocked field goal to where you had the Bears had a chance to win the game.
Oh wow,
it's crazy.
Packers blocked it, and they won 20-19. And obviously with what we did last week, so I mean that's why you literally play till there are zeros on the clock at the end of the fourth quarter, because you just never know. This is the NFL. The other team, as everybody likes, as all the famous quotes say, they get paid to play too.
Yeah,
they're professionals also, so they take pride as well. Except for maybe if you're Jacksonville, I don't know, but I mean, they get paid also. But yeah, that's why I was like, wow. I said, nothing like to blow a 24-6 lead.
Yeah.
Cody says Bears gonna bear, and we like to say Jets gonna jet.
There's always that one team in the division.
Once again.
By the way, Weston, I did not know, we didn't see him today. I have met Pizza Pete before. The pizza is fantastic. If you can get there early enough to get a slice, it is really good. This guy is world famous. Barstool did a whole thing on him. He literally cooks pizzas out of a filing cabinet. And it's just gritty. It's just classic Buffalo. You got to love it.
Has Sean been able to experience, like, not only him, but Pizza
We haven't
Pete,
gotten
but,
to see.
I went down there a few years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I went to the Texans game, it was cool, of course. But when we're hanging out at Jake's, it's like we're chilling there, having a good time eating, and I've seen it before, so it's it's always cool. But I'm fine just chilling sometimes too.
I'm surprised you guys didn't get there and go hang out with the CBS crew that were jumping through tables.
So they were only there. They were only doing it for like an hour.
Yeah,
or
they
so,
did the hour,
and then that was it.
Yeah, and then we were waiting. His boss was cooking food and stuff, and we were waiting for that, and it didn't come out till it was like 2:30.
Yeah, it was about 2:30.
So yeah, we were just hanging out, and by the time we got over there, they were still hanging out over there, but they weren't doing any broadcasting or anything like that.
All right, well, let's go around the horn for heroes and zeros, and then we'll talk about your day yesterday with some chicken wings. But always got to go to ladies first. Buffalo Barbie doll Jessica and the beautiful Blue. Who's your zero? And I'll start with the hero. Who's your hero? Do you even have any zeros?
I don't think we have any zeros. But Greg Rousseau was my hero today. He disrupted that offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. He made it easy for everybody else to penetrate. Even though he doesn't show up on the stat line, he made that defensive line work. And zeros, I just don't think we have any other than that one interception. And you could call down Knox, call it Allen, but it's not worth enough to call them a zero.
Yeah, I agree. So, Jake, your hero, your zero, if you have one.
I mean, need I say less? I'm going to give it to Timothy Allen. Josh Allen is him. The guy is so good at football. I mean, again, he amazes me every week. He has those moments of brilliance, and it's just crazy. Oh, Chris,
Dude, look at this.
That is so funny.
Is this true?
Yo, I'm the security guard from today who said you look like Josh Allen. Quick question. Who was the girl you were with trying to get her number? That's actually his sister.
Okay.
She is taken, unfortunately, man.
You wouldn't want it anyway, trust me.
That is so funny. I love that. Yeah. So Chris, dude, thanks for joining us, man. This is great. Yeah, you're an absolute stud. We were asking Chris, where's T Swift, right? Just wanted to see his sister, huge Taylor Swift fan. She's like, I gotta ask the question. She was talking to him, Chris, God bless you, because she was talking her ear off. And at that point, I think she had hit her peak. You know, she was feeling great. She had a couple drinks. She was I think she's already pretty talkative, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we were on a mission, and Chris did tell us, she's like, yeah, I don't think she's here today. So, but yeah, shout out to you, Chris. Hey, I'll come see you again. I get to a few Bills games. Are you always in the same section? That's my question. But love it.
So wait a minute, I'm still confused. Is this the security guard or Sean's sister or
No, this is the security guard. We talked to him, asking him the question if Taylor Swift was.
Oh, gotcha. And you happen to mention Nickel City Mafia or what? How does he know about this?
Yeah, she mentioned it. I think she said put it in his phone. So I put both Nickel City Mafia and
nice.
Red, White, and Bills. Yeah.
Well, Chris, thanks for joining us tonight, and I appreciate that Sean's sister's boyfriend doing a better job at promoting Nickel City Mafia than the two guys that are on the channel all the time. But hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Really do. So I think Jake, so Josh Allen, of course. Any zeros?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't think I do have a zero. I do want to give a special shout out to Cam Lewis because I'm telling you right now, I looked at Sean and I said,
well, Mike's got to do it.
You're right.
Please.
You keep going.
Please. All right.
This moment.
Sean, go ahead, sir.
I like to give it as a unit, but got to shout out Vandermark today for his first ever start, and maybe not even giving up more than one or two pressures. Maybe two is even wrong. He might not give up any, but shout out to him. It was the biggest game that he could have jumped in and played against very, very talented players, and he held his own, did a fantastic job. And so he gets mine, and then Tyler Bass gets the loser because I had a feeling it was going to come down to that missed extra point.
Oh, that was scary.
I was like, he has more missed extra points than he does missed field goals. Like, how does that even happen?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And luckily it didn't matter this time, but the whole game I was like, it's going to matter. It's going to matter. We're not tied now. It should be 14-14. It should be 7-7, but it's not. And you're going to have to go for two or do something. And, luckily we didn't have to, but you can't get away with that against the Chiefs every time. You got to make those extra points. You got to do the little things right. And you missed the first one. And, again, he made his field goal and made the rest of the extra points, but can't keep missing extra points, man.
Nance and Roma both thought he made it. Even
it
after
looked good from our seats too.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, this is. And then I sat down. Next thing you know, I still see the 6 up there. I'm like, what? They didn't change the score.
Where did they say it missed? Because
it went over the upright, and they thought it went to the right.
Yeah,
Romo maybe he went to the left.
Maybe he did make it and they just got it wrong. So maybe he's not a total loser, but almost. He was, I guess, the only one you could have said possibly for this game. So I guess it was him.
All right. Well, my hero is obviously, I've been joking about it for weeks now, right? I could say Cam Lewis, but I'm not going to. This week, I'm going to say Cam Lewis. Cam Lewis has been showing in, week out, especially since he heard the Trek reviewer just, dumping all over him for the past year. Cam Lewis, out of UB, right? University of Buffalo is where he played.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Right. University of Buffalo. And he's been shining. I was a little worried when I heard Kyrie Elam was inactive. One injury, and you never know who's going to be your backup corner. But Cam Lewis just continues to shine. And not only is it on defense, whenever he's in, he makes some plays, but also on special teams. Last few weeks, guys, he's made some incredible stops, tackles on special teams. And, and his tackling was spot on today. So, and he almost ended the game with his interception. Cam Lewis for me, no zeros. The only zero I'll give is to Mr. Jake Padre for not getting that pizza for Sean. That's the only zero I'm giving out today.
Fair enough.
Get him some pizza.
Yeah,
Um,
he let his wife down too. Above all,
oh
even
man,
worse.
yeah, you know what? I was feeling some pizza today too.
Yeah. And Mike, I might be wrong, but pregame they were showing like players and statistics. It said Cam Lewis had 50 tackles. I don't know if that's true, but I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy if he does, because he's not a regular starter and special teamer, but 50 tackles, that's a ton. So that's,
I mean, he had 3 tackles
solid.
today, tackle for loss,
Yeah, he's got 53 tackles on the season. He's not even a starter.
Pretty damn good.
Dang, that is good.
A lot of solos, 37 solo tackles
That's
too.
pretty good. Good for him.
Revere says I just call it like the way it is, but you're wrong there, buddy. You're wrong.
He's probably top 5 tackler on the team.
He might be. He might be.
All right, Chad, we're going to give you your opportunity here. Your heroes and your zeros today.
Well, I'll start with the negative first. So the 0 would be, well, and I hate to do this, but I don't ever like there, but Nazir Johnson, just not very good. Big liability. Like I said, Jalen Watson is missing, and I was dearly, and I was going through who we have on injured reserve. And I'm just like, goodness gracious, I said Hollywood Brown, Butker, Jody Fordson, Sky Moore, Isaiah Pacheco, Rasheed Rice, Jalen Watson, and Jared White. I mean, it's just a laundry list of people. So that would be my 0. I'm going to give my hero. I'm actually going to go in the opposite. I'll give it to the kicker. Schrader gets signed off the Jets practice squad, made 3 extra points. And I was kind of thinking in Sean's case as well, where if I was hoping that maybe that extra point miss would come back into haunt, because if we did hold them to a field goal, obviously, like I said, you're only down 5. That means the touchdown would put you ahead instead of possibly having to go for 2 to tie it. So, that could have been a play fact. Obviously, it didn't, but if it did, it could have. But the number, I had to look it up. It was 328 days since the last time we lost a game.
Wow.
So we made it almost a calendar year. Like I said, almost a full year. The Christmas Day game against the Raiders was obviously the last one, but I had to see how many days. So 328 days. So give it to Shane Schrader for the hero coming in and making 3 extra points. I'm not sorry, it's not Shane, Spencer. Sorry, I was thinking Shane somebody else. No, Spencer Schrader. So I'll give it to him.
What was the Jim Nantz comment, Cody? What did he say? Josh Allen still being my number 1 quarterback in the league. I freaking love that. Cody always giving his flowers to Josh Allen. I respect the hell out of you. By the way, Cody, Derek Carr look-alike.
Yeah, definitely.
He really is.
Love Cody. We got to get him back on there. He's got that smooth voice.
He's got a great voice.
Yeah, he does.
I'm very jealous of the accent too. It's beautiful.
He's made to be on the air for sure. Let's go. All right, so this is not, what is this? It's not PG rated.
He said something bad.
Well, we're gonna have to look this up now.
Wow.
You can say it. We're PG-13 to a point.
He says it's not PG-13. It's not PG. Well, we're PG-13, so yeah. What we got, Cody? Don't be afraid. Just a comment. Can show it or not, and then I'll change the words if I have. I'll change the words if I have to. I always forget to say this, but if you're new to the channel, please first of all, if you're not new to the channel, and everyone who's watching this, please smash that like button. Throw some comments if you're catching this on the rewatch. And if you're new to the channel, drop a nickel on that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. Now, there was one more final thing that we need to talk about, and this is something we love to talk about, and this is the great food out of Buffalo. And Sean, you came into Buffalo yesterday, and you guys got to experience 9/11. I'm going to let you guys talk about 9/11, give some history on that, Jake. And I want to hear what Sean thought of them. And because you guys tried last time and you just weren't able to make it. And then you hustled over to Wing Nuts to try to catch the Buffalo Shout Show, which I think you guys missed. But talk about that. And I'd love to hear if you guys talk to Matt or Ryan. So let me throw it to you, Jake. Give us some background on the 9/11.
Well, it's an unfortunate name. A lot of people are like, 9/11, what are you guys talking about here? Is this a sick joke? No, so it's called the 9/11 Tavern. It was created in 1981, and it's in South Buffalo, the rough part of the rough buff, as they call it, Mike, right? So Mike's from South Buffalo. He knows a thing or two about it. Right off of South Park Avenue. It's just a small little hole-in-the-wall place, and it's great because they're very old school. They're cash only. You put your name down for registration. They don't text you when your table's ready or anything like that. You're either there or you're not. They'll call your name 3 times. If you're not there, they move on to the next table. So Sean and I, we get there, Typically, like on a weekday, you can go in and not have an issue. And it's crazy because their hours are weird. So they're only open from 4:30 to 9:30 for their kitchen hours. So, but they're that good, they can get away with it. They're also closed on Mondays and Sundays. So we got there at like 4:35, and there's a line of people waiting outside the door. I'm like, oh no, like they're not like that. Like Barbell is like that, right? So I always know, Barbell, when they open, they're going to fill up right away. 911 Tavern, people kind of file in, but with it being a game day weekend and people now knowing how good the wings are, I guess I understand. So Sean and I go in, we put our name down, hour and a half wait, hour and 15, I think she said.
She said that, yeah.
And we waited. It was probably close to an hour and 45 minutes total, but it was worth it. And my gosh, the wings were, look at those. I mean, just beautiful. Everything you could want out of a chicken wing. In my opinion, they are the best actual traditional buffalo style wings. What I love about them, it's very basic. They have mild, medium, hot. That's it. There's no like honey butter barbecue or anything like that. No disrespect to Barbell. They are still the GOAT. They have the biggest range. But if you're talking just strictly traditional buffalo wings, 911 Tavern's my favorite in the area. I think it's the best one here in Buffalo. And it was awesome. I think Sean could attest to it. He thought it was great. So, and then they have steak fries there, which are huge, and they are fantastic as well. So we got the steak fries and then the 20 medium wings. We split them. Beautiful.
I love that, Jake. I mean, it takes me back to the old days when there was just mild, medium, or hot. And I've done a food show before, and I always tell people just get the mild, medium, or hot. Skip those fancy sauces.
Yeah.
But yes, I heard they're the OG. I unfortunately have not been able to go to 911 Tavern yet, but I was surprised at the presentation. I didn't expect such a very good presentation that you just showed, and you sent some
Tough,
pictures
gritty
on
plates, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
but the presentation is on point.
Sean, the sauce, I mean, you were just raving about it, right?
Yeah, that was pretty damn good. I'd say, he said, it's just medium, mild, and hot, but I've had a ton of wings, different flavors. That was the best flavor, regardless of flavor, best wing I've had here. And yeah, it was incredible. I know you don't like blue cheese, Mike, but that was
Keep that a
also
secret.
to
I'm
die
getting
for.
in trouble here.
The steak fries were out of this world too, insane. I
So good.
couldn't believe it. And we didn't do a good job at wing nuts because the fries were this tall. We sucked that down in maybe 3 minutes, and then we put the wings down, the 20 wings down, and we drove. And then we're like, oh crap, now we gotta try to eat these wing nuts wings. And wing nuts, it was good. It was we were there for the show, but where we were sitting, you couldn't hear anything. I thought it was going to permeate through the whole building.
Yeah, it really didn't.
And it didn't. So you didn't really hear anything, but they were there. We didn't see them walk out or anything. We didn't talk to them, but they were there when we got there, and their wings were pretty good. The only, my knock on them, I know Mike doesn't care, but they don't make house made blue cheese. They have the packaged, you have to open up yourself. And to me, that's just like everyone else, all your other competition does it. You got to at least try to do it, and it makes it even better when the blue cheese is really good. The wings were pretty good. They have the specialty, the wing nut specialty. It was a sweet, like
So
kind of
good.
little tangy one. That was really good. Then their mild and medium were pretty good. I don't eat hot, so I know Big Al got the hot ones. He loved them. Their lemon pepper, it wasn't as good as Barbell's, but it was pretty solid. But wing nuts was pretty good. I would have it probably third on my list so far. I've only been to 4, so they're probably third, but they're fantastic still. And we just missed Jamarcus Ingram. He was there like 20 minutes before we got there. The owner side, he came up and talked to us. We talked to the owner for like 30 minutes, and his dad was like, "Yeah, I'll pitch in to buy one of the properties, and I'll have a franchise of wing nuts if you want. I'm fine with that."
It was unreal.
Yeah, so it was a good time. The owner's great. You've heard him talk before, Mike. You watched the shop show, and it was very, very good atmosphere, great place. But yeah, that 911 Tavern, that was the real deal. And it was funny because his brother and his dad lived in Buffalo their whole life, never had 911, and I had 911, and I was like, I'm not from here, and I had that wing before you guys did, and you gotta do it, Mike, next time you're down here.
I'm super jealous because my son Brandon, who lives back there, told me about 911 Tavern. He says, Mike, Dad, you got to get there.
Oh,
But Sean, I'm curious. You said 4. You've been to 4. Give me your ranking, 1 through 4.
Yeah, so it's pretty tough. I'll go from 4 down. So I'll tell you why too. So we went to Elmo's first, the first last time I came with Jake, and it was more of like the waitress kind of misled us a little bit because they have the double dipped, double fried wing, and we had barbecue and medium. Jake's a little bit more of a spicy guy than I am, and he said, "How was your medium? Is it like barbell?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's like that." So he did that and did extra saucy, extra crispy. So there's like a pound of sauce on these, and they're so hot he's hardly eating them because it was that hot. But the flavor was okay. It was pretty good. So just because the lady kind of misled us, probably got to go there again to try it out. But I put them at 4, and then wing nuts at 3. You didn't make a homemade blue cheese, and again the wings were good, but it's just that not making the blue cheese put you at 3 because the other 2 in front of you did it, and then it's a toss up. But I'm gonna put, even though 911 had the best wing overall, like best flavor and everything, I'm just putting them at 2 just because I do love the lemon pepper, the dry rub lemon pepper with blue cheese at Barbell, and their medium's really good. But again, for best wing, it's 911, Barbell, wing nuts, Elmo's, but I'm gonna rank them as
that Cajun honey butter barbecue though at Barbell. Yeah. Oh, there is just, I don't think there is a better wing than that one.
I think I gotta put 911 above Barbell though, because if they have the best tasting wing overall, it doesn't matter what flavor, they got to be first. So, but Barbell's outstanding too. But what I liked about 911 as well is they have the same floor from 1981 still. I looked at everything was the same dirt from 50 years ago was there, and you gotta love that. It's the gritty the grittiness, and they have like 6 tables in there. There was a lot of Chiefs fans in there actually too. They're all sitting at the bar, and so yeah, I'll probably put them number 1 because I can't even explain it. It was just out of this world.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Elmo's got cheated. Now, for those that don't know, Elmo's is known for the double dip, right? The ones that you got to get creative in Buffalo. You want to get ahead of the other places. Talk about that, Jake, and tell me, like, I want to know what is the go-to for you?
Go-to for me at Elmo's is, it is probably the medium and barbecue combined. I don't know what I did. I think I did a medium hot or something.
No, you did medium barbecue, but she told us the medium wasn't that spicy.
Yeah.
But their medium was like hot instead of medium. So
the last time I got it though, it definitely wasn't that spicy. Yeah, it was super spicy when we got it. I don't know what it was, but that's typically how I would do it there. That's what they're known for. But Elmo's is great. By the way, my picture's on the wall there, so not a big deal.
Yeah, he did. He pointed that out too.
Kind of cool.
Why is that?
2013 University of Buffalo football roster. I'm in the background wearing a polo. Pretty cool. I was on the staff.
So everything I've heard about wing nuts is you get the crunch. Was that true, Sean? Did you notice this extra crunch from the others?
And like I said yesterday, to me they're all the same crunch. To be honest, like I don't know how you can make it extra crunchy without drying it out. What I think they do is they put extra batter on it because they looked a little bit bigger, but they're the same size at the same time. And I think it was just heftier. I think they might have put a little bit extra, something on it to make it the illusion of it being bigger and crunchier. But it was pretty crunchy. And what I loved the most also though about that was they do put a lot of sauce on it, and then the sauce kind of absorbs through if you let them sit there for a minute, and they're still crunchy though. So they do, they got the crunch down like they always say, and whatever they do to make them look bigger, it is, but pretty solid.
Yeah. And by the way, the owner, Ed, is awesome. So he was on they kind of blew up when Barstool did they did a focus on them. They kind of like a documentary. Pardon My Take came to Buffalo, and the story is great. Well, he said he would like to do an interview with us, Mike. So we're gonna definitely hit him up. I got his number, and we'll do something special with him. So my dad mentioned it. He said Wingnuts wants to do a podcast with us. That is true. So it's very cool. The guy is awesome. He's as Buffalo as it gets too. I think you'll love him, Mike.
I would love it. I was a little mad at you too yesterday because you got me so hungry. You're sending these beautiful pictures of wings. So I'm like, we go to my son's soccer game at night, and I'll tell my wife, I'm like, I need some chicken wings. So we don't have a lot of great chicken wings, but when I do have that need, I go to Buffalo Wild Wings. This is all we really have around here, and it's hit or miss. But
It's
guess
not
what?
that bad, Jay.
It was a
Buffalo Wild
huge miss last night. Huge miss.
Oh,
I'm more of the flats guy. By the way, I learned. I don't know if the ones in Buffalo, if you can pay a little extra, if you like flats,
yes. I'll get all flats.
You
Yep.
do that.
Mhm.
That's my thing. So I'm gonna start doing that because they gave me of my 10 wings, 6 were the drums, and I only got 4 flats, and the drums weren't cooked properly. Just disgusting. It just ruined it for me. So I was mad at you too for that. But the other 4 were okay. But yeah, just learned. And I didn't know this even in Buffalo. Like if I go to Buffalo, when I go to Buffalo, when I order those wings, I'm gonna pay the extra to get just flats.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Jake, are you more of a flat guy or are you more of the drum?
To be honest with you, I'm more of a drum guy.
I noticed because I was taking all the flats and he was leaving them, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
You get a little more meat. It's kind of easier to eat. With the flats, they're great, but like the problem is you got that middle portion then, right? And you got to just kind of like get a little awkward sometimes. It's great, but and they're both good. I don't discriminate. But if I had to pick, I think I'm going drums.
Yeah. What about you, Sean? It sounds like you're more of a flat guy.
It's weird because when I'm back home, I'm like we're kind of like you, Mike. We got one actual wing place, but it's got more than wings, but it's known for wings. And other than that, you gotta get them at pizza joints, and they're hit or miss every time. But I just always get the flat because like there's like their drums are all dried out and there's like nothing on it and trash. So I'm saying I'll get the flats. But in Buffalo, I can eat both of them, but I still prefer I like on the flat the first initial part. You know what I'm talking about, Mike? It's got the crunch part and the meat on it.
Yeah.
That initial first bite, you just rip it off. That's my favorite part. So I'm a big flat guy.
Yeah, Chad. What about you? You have some wings. Are you a flat guy or a drum guy?
Oh, drumettes. That's what I go with.
Wow.
I'm more of it. We're kind of the same here. We basically just have a Buffalo Wild Wings. Now we do have a local place it's a sports bar. They're actually a company, or not company. They're a family that moved years ago from Memphis, and they do like a Memphis style barbecue with their wings. It's actually really good. It's a little bit pricey, but it's pretty good. But also, since I work at a place that makes chicken wings there, I can grab a bag off the line and throw them there. So I actually have a bag of mixed wings and drumettes sitting in flats and drumettes sitting in the freezer. So, but yeah, I go more for drumettes.
I like the flats. The flats are usually better cooked. Drums you just don't know what you're gonna get. It's hit or miss. And again, I don't know. Even taking a bite, you don't know what you're gonna get. You get some meat or you get something, some bone. I don't know. It's a little sketchy. Is all I'm saying. I'll eat both. But anyhow, Jessica, do you have the opinion on this?
I think the problems with the flat. That's what the tongue is for.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly.
That's how I'm saying. It gets a little awkward. The
only thing I don't like is
French kiss
my beard.
The wing.
Yeah. This show is going off the rails tonight. Cody going in with his comment here too. I do
have a question for Chad. What do you think is holding back the Chiefs offense?
We go from wings to back to a question for Chad. Okay, let's go.
I love it.
I think he's on mute.
My bad. Yeah, there you go.
He's like, you know what?
Yeah, Mike did too. I was trying to figure who asked the question. I mean, honestly, we Veach, if you're watching, which I know you're not, but if you are, please give Donovan Smith a call like tonight because we desperately need a left tackle. Wanya Morris is just not it, and you can't keep throwing in the rookie there either. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. It's just the one from BYU.
Yeah.
But I'll just the injuries and honestly just a lack of a left tackle. So I think if and he's even posted on social media. I know people's he's available, like he's just sitting at home. So, but I just think that it's just some injuries and like I said, lack of a left tackle. I mean, I think once we start getting some people back, we'll be fine. And I would love to see when Hollywood Brown gets ready, and they said he'd probably be back for the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think if you can get them going with DeAndre Hopkins and Xavier Worthy, I think that's going to be a combo that could really be fast down the field. And I think if you get them, just get the ball in the hands, you can kind of use Holly Brown or Xavier Worthy as kind of like the Tyreek Hill from a few days ago. Just get the ball in their hand and let them run. So I just think that's what I just think that's part of it. But also, and I think Wes there mentioned earlier too, it's like, Reed and Spag just they don't show everything on film. They want to keep a few things in. Like I said, they're not going to show all their cards. So I'm sure there's some things that they probably could have put in, but they're like, hey, we don't want this on film yet. So, but I just think it's just some injuries, and that they don't say that it's the trying to go for a perfect season, but it has to wear on them some, because every week it just outs more pressure if you win. It's just like, when is it going to end? So, I think now that that's over with, I think they can just relax and you don't have to feel questions about it anymore. You can just go out and go focus and go play football.
Yeah, it should be an easy game this week.
I will say never any game there, especially the way
it should be.
Yeah, could be. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, with the way Carolina's been playing, I mean, hey, they're you never know. I mean, yeah, it's tough to judge 2 weeks, but it's never easy in this league, and every one of them's hard. So it'll be fun to see next week on the adjustments that they'll make. I know they'll go back and they'll look at film and they'll see with what they can do to make things better. But I think getting Pacheco and Charles Omenihu back next week will be helpful. And also, like I said, I think they just need to go find a left tackle. But because I think we have a pretty good offensive line. I mean, it's rated one of the best offensive lines interiorly in the league. So I mean, Trey Smith and Tooney. And God, I'm going blank.
Creed Humphrey.
Yeah, Creed Humphrey. I mean, that's three of the best in their position. So it was. I'm honestly surprised there. I'm glad they only gave up 2 sacks. It seems like, just by listening, it sounds like it could have been more. But mostly, I know Wanye got beat on the left side, because they said he just got absolutely whipped. So that's why I'm like, call Dalton Smith, please. So, give him a call. But
I love what Cody says here, by the way.
Yeah, okay,
paying homage to blue cheese. Love it, Cody.
I got 2 comments. One for you, Chad, on the holding off, not showing everything. But I want to go back to this real quick, so I need to finish this off here. This whole wing conversation. The only problem with flats is the inability to dip down on a sauce cup properly.
Bro.
I'm gonna tell you something. I am old school. Why are you dipping your wings? It's a violation. If you want to, it's almost like having a $100 steak and just putting all that steak sauce all over it and just ruining it. These wings, especially in Buffalo, are sauced properly. You don't need to be dipping them and ruining it. So eat them. Now, the blue cheese is meant for the celery and the carrots. That's it. That's it. You can dip it some other stuff, but don't dip wings into your blue cheese.
It's a flavor enhancer.
Whatever. No, I'm telling you guys, have ruined it. When I was there back
that's way old school.
We never, ever dipped into the blue cheese our wings. Come on now.
Well, the reason that's not true is because 9/11 doesn't even give you carrots and celery. They just give you blue cheese. So
there was celery underneath the wings. There were 4 pieces of celery.
They give you some. They had to adapt to you guys, kind of ruining the whole thing. Like, hey, everyone wants to dip their wings. Like, well, you don't like our sauce enough?
Damn millennials.
Come on, ruin it. Yeah. But all right, so that's it on the wings. Chad, the only thing to you and Weston, people were saying this about the Bills. I forget who it was early in the season, preseason. Oh, we don't want to show our hand. We don't want to show our hand. And I said this on the podcast multiple times. Like, what do you got to show? What's so innovative that you are going to hold something back? Like, we haven't seen it before. So I'm not a big fan of saying, like, we're holding out, we're not going to show all our cards, because, like, what else is out there? What's so innovative? What are you going to do? Another trick play? Instead of going to 3 guys, you're going to have 4 guys touch the ball and throw the long pass. So I was not a fan when people were saying that about the Bills, like in preseason. Like, I always feel like if you don't play your offense, you're going to come out flat. You're going to come out cold. And so this whole, we're 11 week 11, and saying that you have plays that you're going to be not putting out there. I would say the same thing if it was the Bills saying that as well. Like if we were Bills fans saying that, I'd be like, I just don't buy it. So anyhow, that's my only rebuttal to that. And I know you guys might have some takes on that.
Yeah, there probably is, like, I mean, they probably have every team for playoffs separated, but at this point, and I was telling Jake, our goal today not only is to win, but to try to get them to do everything they need to do to also try to win, and then it just continues to show more. But in both of our cases, we both were missing players, so at the end of the day, there's going to be stuff that we didn't see this time anyway. So it's going to be a brand new game when we play, if we play again. And even if we didn't, so say we didn't have Cooper either, Andy Reid would be, Andy Reid and Spags would be ready for Cooper when we played him in the playoffs because they're excellent at adjusting in the game. But, to a point, I'm with you, Mike, but I also agree with Chad also slightly because I do think that every coach has something that they save for later on in the playoffs. But I think also during the regular season, they still try to, do whatever they can. But all I know is we're always going to run Josh up the middle once a game on second down. That's all I know is a Josh Allen draw once a game, and it happened again today.
That was crazy.
I looked at Jake. I said, "Did it again." They can't go one game without running your quarterback up the middle with a big defensive lineman getting his head popped. But
I actually have a little bit of a question maybe for you guys there, since obviously since I'm on the other side of this. Do you think that, and I fully expected them whenever they were going to go for it anyway, but do you think that it creeped into the mind of McDermott there when he made that decision to go for it on fourth down that he didn't want to have another one of those like 13-second game moments again
Absolutely.
where you're like,
100%.
hey,
100%.
instead of kicking the ball and squibbing it, and do that? I think that I kind of had a feeling that was going to be the case because, whenever I figured it seemed like almost about every fourth down, it seemed like they were going for it because the best way to beat Kansas City is to keep Mahomes off the field.
yeah.
So, because that's the only way you're going to do it. And of course we get a score, but on defense, but I just kind of thought, I said, there's no way he's going to kick a field goal. Even if it was 4th and 15, I think he would have probably went for it only because, and I'm just exaggerating on that, of course, but it's just because like, hey, I'd rather just give a chance, throw the ball down the field. Who knows what happens as compared to punting it back and giving him the ball back with, like I said, a little bit over 2 minutes left and maybe a timeout or two. So that's what I kind of thought. I said, I really expected that. So
yeah, I agree too. I was telling him,
like I said,
I want to be up 2 scores because I even thought, to your point, Chad, when we were up 9 with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go, I said they got 2 timeouts in the 2-minute warning. I said they can get 9 points in 2 minutes. So I was like, you don't want to be within 1 score of Kansas City when they have the football because you could score 8 points in 13 seconds, but you can't score 9 no matter how good you are. So I said, at least if you're up 9 and your defense folds, you may be able to still get away with it. And, luckily for us, they didn't get a chance to score. But to your point, I looked at Jake and said, it's not over, man. It's
never over.
2 minutes left is a lot of time.
And that's the reason why I was thinking that he was probably going to go for it because if, like I said, even if you kick the field goal and you're up 5, well, guess what? You're still going to give him the ball back. And nobody wants Patrick Mahomes now to have the ball because it's just like, I kind of feel, obviously now I know what the Patriots went through, 20 years ago because now and all that stuff with their run because they hate it. But you kind of have to look at this like Buffalo goes through this now twice. You already had one guy that did it within your division. And then you have a guy outside the division, and it's a similar circumstance where it's like, who's the one guy you do not want to have the ball last when it's a 1-score game? You don't want Mahomes to have the ball last because chances are you're probably going to get beat. Last week was probably the rare exception because we didn't have the ball last, and we still won. But thank God for special teams. But I was just thinking, I said he's going to go for it. And if they get the first down, I knew it was going to be over with because I just knew we had no chance because they could probably just ran out the clock. Not really. But I mean, for the most part, they probably would have ran it out. Well, even if they kicked a field goal, it would only give us like maybe 10, 15 seconds left. Right. Just not a whole lot of time to really get down the field, even with 2 timeouts. You just not do a lot. But you never want to take that chance with Mahomes still with the ball and still in possession. So, yeah, I just thought that was interesting to figure that's probably what would happen.
Yeah. Well,
getting back to holding things back.
Yeah.
The Chiefs brought out the Worthy package today.
Hmm?
They've not been
They
using
did.
him all season long since the first 2 games. They had a plan for him to use him that the Bills were not prepared for, and they brought that out today. And so I agree with Chad. They do hold things back. Andy Reid is that smart.
Yeah, he is.
Joe Gibbs was the master of it back in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
He would hold things back until the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden, when they were running a post all year long, all of a sudden they would break out to the corner, and that's how they did it. So I'm sort of agree. I agree with Chad that they hold things back.
Okay, I can appreciate that.
And also, and like even going back to the Super Bowl, the first time against the 49ers, I mean, the Wasp play, was something they had, but they never used it. And then also the snow globe play, they also had that too, and they never used it. So I think that was from 57, if I'm not mistaken. So, I think that I think they do, but I think it's also what I'm kind of thinking too. It's not really plays, it's more like packages, especially if it's either a blitz package or a cover package, they could hold some of that back because to Sean and Jake's point, and even Mike's to a certain extent, if you have players that are missing on both sides there, you're going to be prepared for them, next time because you're going to have them on film, but you don't want to you don't want to overshow your hand to where when you don't have those people on, on there, that this is kind of the coverage you'd have. So you kind of get ready to play for whoever that's available. And I know that, whenever we get Hollywood Brown back and a few others, it's going to be different there because there's not a whole lot of film other than the one preseason game that Hollywood Brown was with us when he got hurt.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, and it just seems like, God, that was back in August. I mean, but
It's crazy.
But I just think that it's I just think that for certain players, yeah, if Mari Cooper hadn't played, they would have had package ready for him, but then they would have been ready for him, in the playoffs, and who knows what would have happened if it were to get that. But I just think that it's I just think that, all coaches kind of like have those, like I said, a few cards stuffed away, just in case if you ever need them, the old trump card, if you will.
Yeah.
Also, for me, real quick, I'm like, we assume we're both going to see each other again, but who knows? So if we don't see him again, make sure you beat him now because you never know. So
True.
if you have to put out an extra something maybe to get it done, go for it. And then, hopefully we get an opportunity again to make up for at least one of the wrongs we've had in the past 3 years. But, it's it's still always good because like Mike said in the beginning of the show, just to wrap it up, we're very similar to these teams. You guys do have the way better coaching staff. We still have good coaches, but Andy Reid and Spags, they're just absolutely unbelievable. And they can really change games as good as Mahomes is and everything. They're really absolutely outstanding. And, offense, defensive wise, we play the same kind of ball. We both got a superstar quarterback. We don't have the best weapons in the world, but we get it done with what we got. And the defenses are always ready to play. So it's my favorite matchup of any team we play because they're always good. Minus that championship game in 2020, every other game has been pretty close and awesome. So very good to watch.
I agree.
All right. Well, we've been going at it for what are we at? An hour and
2
43
hours.
minutes.
I got some more food to kill. And
Yeah. I hear the baby boy crying up there. So
oh yeah, we can't keep him waiting. So and then I just heard my
Okay,
family.
if you want to stay downstairs, stay downstairs.
yeah, right. Let's keep it going for another hour.
Chad, I want to thank you for joining us. I know it's always tough when your team loses.
No, absolutely. It's
We
fun.
hate-
Talking to you.
We hate getting on the podcast when our team loses, and so it's very difficult. But appreciate you, man. You've been a longtime member of Nickel City Mafia, and look forward to seeing you in the playoffs. And Jake and
let's hope.
Jake and Sean, glad you guys had a great weekend. And again, you're now 2-0 together, so we might have to figure out any other big games that we have. Might have to figure out how to get you guys tickets. I saw Brett out there saying, any money that Nickel City Mafia makes, we're gonna have to put it towards tickets for you too.
I'm cool with that.
We'll figure that out.
Great idea. That's a brilliant idea.
And Jessica, it's
No
good
playoffs.
to see you
I'm just
after missing last week, Jessica. So thanks for joining us. You always keep me in check. Appreciate it. Everyone out there in the threads, in the chat, thank you so much. It's really, makes it a lot of fun when you guys are out there interacting with us. So appreciate you all. And got to get Weston on the channel. I don't know what to do. Weston just will not get on camera. He can even hide his camera. Like, can't get him on here. Cody, we're going to reach out to you because we got to do another show with Cody. Ladarius McConkey about to win the game.
Guy's a stud. Two major catches here. Yeah.
Okay, so they're at where? There's a fourth quarter.
Definitely in field goal range now, I think.
26 seconds left or something like that.
Misses till they go to overtime.
Oh, they're at the Cincinnati 29. They're at the Cincinnati 29.
Touchdown Chargers.
Really?
Wow. Chad's a little ahead.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I'm over the air. I'm not streaming, so it's
yeah.
How'd they score?
Who was? I can't remember who was that ran the ball there. He just ran the ball up the left sideline there and then leaped over the pylon. Is it J.K. Dobbins? I think.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins. Yeah, he just ran up the sideline and leaped over the pylon.
What a dagger!
18 seconds left.
Well, that's nice, so Chad. We might not have to worry about the Bengals either.
Yeah.
Neither of us.
That's true. I guess we'll have a little bit of the Chargers nipping at our heels, but we still got a 3.5 game lead over them.
It might be 3 teams from the AFC West making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of
possible.
Crazy.
I love it.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Nobody from the South is coming. Nobody from the East is coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's either
they're
the
going to
North.
have a coin flip for that division. Nobody wants to win the AFC South, apparently.
We're going to call it a night. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon. And
go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
What do the Chiefs? What do the Chiefs say? Oh, I don't know how you do. Wait a minute. I heard this. Was that just Bills fans mocking?
No, they do that.
I heard that.
Yeah, we do that.
No, I know.
We do the tomahawk chop at home.
In this game, I heard it. Did you guys hear
that?
Well,
we do that at the game sometimes. Not the tomahawk chop, but we do the what is it? The before the kickoff.
We do. That's probably what.
Okay. I thought I was hearing some Chiefs things. I'm like, is this the fans mocking them or something? I don't know. Anyhow, good stuff. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye now.
See you later.